In my previous video, I talked about how transportation and movement equates to rebirth, and I pointed out that this was done through title and declaration.
You started up by saying the Department of Defense, and somehow it didn't sound good to me. You know, it didn't sound good. Defense, what are we defense? Why are we defense? So it used to be called the Department of War, and it had a stronger sound. And as you know, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything.
In the video clip that we just watched with Donald Trump, we see that he begins to compare the name or title that's being declared today versus what was used in the past.
Now we have a Department of Defense with defenders. I don't know. If you people want to, standing behind me, if you take a little vote, if you want to change it back to what it was when we used to win wars all the time, that's okay with me.
He states that the word defense just doesn't sound right.
It just sounded bad. He said, sir, on behalf of the Department of Defense, defense. I don't want to be defense only.
And he begins to question whether it properly represents the country in its progress of movement today.
We want defense, but we want offense too, if that's okay. So you'll make a decision. But you know, as Department of War, we won everything.
And so this is a perfect example of why you should know the meaning of a word or name that you hold as a title, because it has an impact on your movement.
Your name holds so much power, and I bet you don't even know it. My name used to be Brittany.
A Brittany is one who is in support of boundaries established in regard to those who catch fish, because a Brit is a fish, or one who fishes. It is one who attempts to catch fish to be employed in taking fish by any means. War.
And I never really liked that name. I felt like it was very common. More importantly, the reason that I had these characteristics that I didn't even like was literally connected to my name. A lot of our parents named us because they liked the name, or, oh, that's a cute baby name, that's a cute girl name, that's a cute boy name. It's like, no, we need to be naming our children with intention, because the way that people see us in the world, our first impression to the world is literally with our name. Yes, it's with our face, but it's also with our name.
And I also explained this in my...
Now, when the Kardashians first arrived in the US, their ancestors' surname was Kardashev or Kardashoff. And this is perfect for someone who wants to immigrate, especially if they are being faced with a tumultuous situation. Kardashoff. Once they arrived in the US, the name was changed to Kardashian.
What this means is the words that you state as a name becomes the carrier, or in other words, your career. So remember, do you remember Charles Dickens? The name Charles ties into businesses that relate to word of mouth, an author, a salesman, as the word char is an alternate spelling of the word car. To perform a business as a free agent, to be open to contract. And so with the name Charles, you can be an uncontracted servant or the one who controls the uncontracted servants, the common man. But this name Charles also comes from the Latin word carolus, carolus, which deals with the written works or poems. And we see that Charles Dickens writes a book about the common man, and he is also known for written works.
I love to find out where things come from. The question mark is Carolingian. It comes from about 800.
It is odd to find out the origin of something we take for granted, like the question mark. Now, we use the term Carolingian to refer to the time of Charlemagne and his successors. Charlemagne, also Charles the Great, or Carolus Magnus, hence the name Carolingian.
He was a king. He was famously crowned emperor in 800 by the Pope in Rome.
Oh, just open my
Charlemagne.
Bible and mind my damn business.
and somebody who invents the question mark, who invents punctuation as we use it.
Well, strangely, those things go together. Charlemagne had to govern a vast kingdom where there were many different languages and dialects spoken. He really needed to organize and educate to create a Christian kingdom, a Christian empire.
The Romans had law, they had roads, they had trade systems, they had educational systems.
They had a vast bureaucracy and trained civil servants to help the government run.
Did you know that the title Roman means Christian, and it also refers to transportation and movement through title and declaration? A Roman is a series of persons placed in a continued line. A Roman.
So they had to figure out how they could create systems again, based in part on the old Roman systems that were capable of holding this empire together.
So first thing first, I want to thank my lawyers, I want to thank the jurors, I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank the respectful press. I really, really appreciate that.
I want you to notice how most of the celebrity names will deal with the car, the letter E, or the function of the census. Her stage name, Cardi B, is the command Cart E-B, which means to group and carry those who are labeled as E, to capture them and move them. And who's labeled as E? The lowest on the chart are those who are totally uneducated and that holds very little value. Because no one can make use of this type of person, they hold the value of E, which is a diminutive termination. Someone at this status may be regarded as a human guinea pig. On this particular chart, this is referenced by unskilled workers without a high school diploma.
The third leading cause of death, as published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, is MD-directed treatments. This means you go to a medical doctor, an MD, he gives you a treatment and you die from it. According to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, 15,000 Medicare patients a month are killed by MD treatment, and nobody goes to jail. This is because we have been, I don't want to say brainwashed, that's not the correct term, but we have been, for the last 100 years, kind of led into this false belief. You know, I think it was Marcus Welby that started it. You need to just shut up and follow your medical doctor's advice. Most people in the United States have no idea at all of the history of the evolution of medicine in the United States. In the early 1900s, it was a relatively level playing field between the chiropractors, the osteopaths, the homeopaths, and the MDs. In 1915, 1920, there was something called the Flexner Report. The Carnegie Corporation funded this man named Abraham Flexner. He went all around the country, and he went on stagecoach and train and horseback. This was before the interstate highway system, right?
His name is Andrew Carnegie, which means to draw in, and Carnegie. Many times, people with certain names or titles are heavily invested in influence with a particular topic because it is tied into their name. The question is, are you doing the work that your name ties you to?
If you guys want to have a name decoded, your name, someone else's name, for research purposes or relationship compatibility, it can even tell you if you're in the right career. If you are interested, check out the information in the description down below.